Good morning. This is Norma Cowie. Welcome you to my YouTube channel. And as it's on Sunday, a Sunday Thought, also my Facebook professional page, Norma Cowie, Psychic Life Consultant. The other day, I got a message and it said to me, Happy Spring. And I had to think about that for a moment when I realized it was the spring solstice plus the equinox. How had that happened? I hadn't even been aware. And I only received the one notice that it was spring. And I had to actually look at the calendar. Is it spring already? It seems sometimes that this winter has seemed to have dragged on and be very restrictive and all of those things. And then it got me thinking. When we come to an equinox or like this, moving from winter to spring, how is our energy? How are we feeling? Are you energized about leaving winter and heading to spring? What are you deciding for yourself as you come into spring and, of course, then summer? What are your goals? Are you really ready to create what you want? Do you want to be clear or confused? So I want to just talk a little bit about those because that's mainly what I teach. And I have been so privileged in the last 6 weeks. I have been teaching a tarot class through Zoom, and they're spread way out all over. And I realized the opportunity this has been given me because I now can teach students that are not just local. I did teach some classes where I had local, and then I had a couple people come in with Skype. But with Zoom, different areas of Canada, even internationally. So there was a privilege about that, an excitement that, wow, I can reach out to the world. And it's so wonderful to see how the people that are studying are improving. And it's one thing I began to notice over the years because I've taught tarot for a long time. And I noticed the difference for those that took a weekly class, how much more they really got what I was teaching. And when we did a weekend, they had a lot of information to process, and maybe they didn't quite have it totally. But at the same point, this time we've got 2 more weeks to go, and I'm very excited about this, and already have a couple people wanting to know when my next class will be, which will possibly begin in May. We're going to get through April, I think, and then we'll get into May. So anyway, that was one of the things that I was very excited about of what I was doing, and also deciding to put in some other classes as well, because I have a very unique way of teaching psychic development. And I think a lot of people would benefit that. It's also because I really believe in clearing out your patterns or your programs, your systems. And when we get the psychic systems, because a lot of people don't realize that they do have a psychic nose and a psychic mouth. And I discovered the psychic nose through one of my employees one time, who she would say things to me, well, it smells fishy, Norma. I think you should look at this contract. I should think you should do this. It doesn't smell right. And I began thinking, well, we have 5 senses, so why should we not have 5 psychic abilities? So I went in and found how my psychic nose works. I then found out how my psychic mouth worked, and as well as, of course, your eyes, ears. And then, of course, we have our wonderful intuition that is always working, and what most people utilize, because it involves your whole system, your aura, your chakras, and so that makes things a lot easier. I think I got myself a little sidetracked because I really wanted to talk about a little bit about what you were wanting to create as we move into this. Like, I know very soon Easter's coming. So again, we've got all of these different things we're looking at kind of bunched together this year. And we here ended up having quite a mild winter. I often find as we move into spring, sometimes winter comes along and reminds us it's still around. Hasn't totally left. But what is it you're wanting? This year has been full of frustration for many of us. And we're still not sure where this is going to go and how things are going to be and what the end result of situations are. But it's like we still have a personal choice. I've been procrastinating a lot lately, mainly because I have to finish up all my bookkeeping from last year with a new system that I have found very frustrating, and I need to get it to my accountants. And so what did I do? I sat down and reread some novels, couple of series that I haven't read for a while. So, and it was like, I look around my house and I go, oh, I've got to do that now. I've got to do the other. I've got to do this. And what do? I sit down and read. But I have learned over time that when I am in that phase, not to fight it, because it doesn't last forever, because eventually all the things you need to do, you begin to come in, and you're not enjoying reading because you're thinking, I need to be doing this and I need to be doing that. And isn't that like spring, when they call about spring cleaning? All of a sudden you notice the windows have got dust on them or streaks, and then you notice this or that. And so you begin to spring clean. And for me, very often, I may be reading on one part of my mind, but the other part of mine is going, i.e., thinking about different workshops that I could be doing in the next, let's say, to the end of the year. Road trips that I might be able to take that I would like. I have a couple planned. All of these little things begin to work in, and it's a very much like spring. And I was thinking, oh, I'll be able to go get my flowers for my garden outside my window, which brings me great delight during the summer when I can sit here and look out my window and there's a lot of beautiful flowers. So there's all sorts of things that are happening, and we need to make time for our thinking, our thoughts, our awareness. I know my dad used to say a little thing about spring, is a little poem about spring. Spring is sprung. The grass, I can't quite remember it totally, so I won't say any more about it, but the spring has sprung. So spring is here. And that means we can spring into springing into whatever, how you want that spring to look for you. No matter what the outside circumstances are, you still can set your goals. You still can become aware of who you totally are and what you totally are wanting to create. So this is a time to look at, are you ready to begin to create what you want? Or are you just going to sit and allow things to happen? Are you going to be procrastinative like I have been the last couple of weeks? Or are you going to get moving to do things that you need to do? You know, and I'm just going to say one final thing. As I was talking to a friend about acceptance, I still think that acceptance of situations as they are probably one of the hardest things we as humans have to have and deal with and cope with, because some things in life are not the way we want them to be. But the only way we can move on is to accept them totally and know it's absolutely okay. Life is good. Life is good if one makes it good. There's so many things to enjoy, so many things to do. So I am wishing you all a wonderful spring, a wonderful time of examining what it is that you really want. I give thanks for your subscriptions. I give thanks for the likes, the comments. And also, you can always visit, I'm just going to put that up here. I'm going to repractice my webpage, normacowie.com. And you can always sign up for my newsletter, which comes out once a month with all sorts of details of classes and specials, etc., plus some thoughts that I have that are running around at the time. Thank you for watching. I'll be back on Wednesday for Norma Talks. And until then, happy spring.